What's up guys, SKNOVA here. Today we're going to do a little bit of a educational video. My progress is going pretty good, so I'm just going to show you some of my champions. I've got Big Un leveled up nicely. He's at 48. You can see I didn't match his sets up perfectly, but give him some crit damage and some attack chest. Don't have a perfect set to put on him without pulling gear off other people, so he's in progress. But today, just want to talk about, for the new players out there, what sort of characters to look for, especially the rares. So I'm just going to do a video on the best rares of Raid Shadow Legends and what you look for. So, number one, my personal favorite rare, one that you're going to always need, is the Executioner. And you get him from the map 11. Any of the stages can drop him. His type is well, he's a magic hero. He's sort of an attack defense based hero, which is a little bit confusing, but his main ability here is based off attack. His AoE main ability is based off attack defense, so you kind of want to gear him for both. If you just focus on attack and then get as many defensive pieces as you can, you probably will do okay. You do use your main attack quite a bit more than your AoE attack. His big thing is that Shieldtron, once you reduce its cooldowns, will activate every 5 turns, which will use his main ability, which is based off attack. So definitely focus on attack. I think he's probably the #1 rare hero that you want to get, because in my opinion, the campaign farmer is the most important character that you have in this game. You can use him the most. So definitely gear him up and get him to be the best possible. There's a few other really good heroes that you can get. There's 2 starters, obviously Aethel and Kael are both really good. Kael is probably better for the clan boss early on. Aethel is probably a little bit easier to level initially. He's, I think, a little bit higher damage, survives a little bit better than Kael does. Aethel is also really good once you get to the end game clan boss, because he hits 3 times and has weaken ability. Kael's specialty here is the poisoning. So he has 2 abilities that put poison on characters. One's an 80% chance, which you can get to 100% once you've skilled them up. He might not be a bad hero to use your tombs on, because you use them quite a bit. Later on in the game, you'll get more epic heroes that could be better than Kael, and as you get Giant Slayer on your heroes, Kael is not as valuable, potentially. Still really good, no harm in leveling him to 60. I can see him being used in endgame in many different situations, and overall pretty good hero. So if you don't start with him, hopefully you find him from a pack, and he could be pretty good. Dark Elves actually have a couple more characters that I think are absolutely a must keep. Do not turn these characters into food, Mystic Hand being one of them. His first ability here increases his chance of blocking buffs. Now when you're fighting the magic boss, the blue boss, if you can get this ability off before she puts her buffs on, you'll win pretty easily. The catch to it is her second minion can remove all the debuffs, so you have to kill him really quickly. This guy basically makes that fight a cakewalk. Now this ability, Steal Buffs, is currently disabled in the game. It was breaking the game and causing server crashes and bad things to happen. So they basically just remove the buff steal. If that was available, this would be even better. This is probably the best hero to use on the magic boss. He also is one of the better rare heroes. This is kind of like Sinisha, who is a epic hero, where she equalizes the HP of all allies too. Oftentimes what you'll find when you're doing campaign is one of your heroes will get focused on, usually the one that has the affinity weak to whatever you're fighting, and they'll take a bunch of damage, and so you actually do need single target healing quite a bit, and this one will equalize them to the highest HP, which is usually the ones that aren't touched. So if you're trying to progress in the campaign or even certain dungeons, this guy is amazingly useful, so I highly recommend him. Do not turn him into food ever. Use him to skill up other Mystic Hands if you do farm a lot of shards or buy a lot of shards. Very, very useful. Spirit Host is on the list. She is farmable, I believe, from map 4. Her self-heal isn't bad. She does have an attack buff boost, which is pretty good. She's also a speed buff, and early on, 10% is pretty good. Applies everywhere. One of the big things is this debuff removal. It's very good for, say, the Void Keep, who puts poison on you. The Force Keep dungeon boss, who puts a attack debuff on you. Many situations where you'll want to remove debuffs and block future debuffs. It does have quite a long cooldown. There's other heroes that can do it as well, such as Eris, which I'll talk about. But she is definitely a good one to have. And also, great in the Force Keep. So I'll talk briefly about a couple of the Void heroes. Cold Heart is amazing on the clan boss. Early on, great on the clan boss because of Heartseeker ability, where it does damage based off max HP. And later on, when you have Giant Slayer, really good because she's the only, I think one of the only heroes that has an A4 or A1 that attacks 4 times. There's a few other heroes that have other abilities that attack 4 times, but she's the only one that has it, and it can do it every single turn. So that combined with Giant Slayer makes her amazing. She also has a poison, which is a little bit hard to place because you do need the heal reduction debuff, which doesn't always land, I have found. So can be good, but I wouldn't rely on her poison necessarily. But in terms of Heartseeker and her A1 ability, makes her fantastic. Possibly one of the best Void heroes, rare Void heroes to get. And yeah, so those are the Dark Elves. I'll briefly show Aethel. That's right, Sacred Order. We talked about her briefly before. What makes her really good for the clan boss later on is the 3 hits. Again, with Giant Slayer, you want your abilities to hit as many times as possible because each hit has a chance to proc Giant Slayer. But it's usually not just the number of hits, because there's quite a few heroes you can choose from that have 2 or 3 hits. It's also the debuffs that they bring. And Weaken is one of the strongest debuffs because it increases all damage that the enemy takes. And there's usually either a 15% or a 25% version of Weaken. Aethel has the higher 25%. If you fully increase all of our skills, which takes quite a few skill books or points or Aethels, you get all the way up to 100% chance. Of course, it can be resisted and you need accuracy. So basically when you get her geared up, you have that ability, plus this one that gives her increased attack and defense, and an extra turn, so it's not really turn wasted. On the clan boss, you don't necessarily use Divine Blades anymore, you basically just use your A1 ability and your A3 whenever it's up. Still, fantastic way of putting the Weaken debuff on. There's not many heroes that have a near 100% chance, especially not rare ones, and that makes her extremely powerful. So I'm just going to skip over to some of the easier to obtain ones. So Eris here, early on to say mid-game, she's actually very powerful, maybe also even overpowered, but as you progress a little further and enemies have more health and they hit harder, she's sort of a glass cannon. She'll die pretty easily, and as she can't one-shot enemies at higher level, she becomes less useful. So very good early on. She has a great speed boost for campaign farming. She can be decent in the arena as well. She has a debuff removal, which removes 1 debuff from all allies, so not necessarily as good as Spirit Host, but still pretty good. But it also gives a speed buff increase, which is very good. So one to look out for if you get her early on. Definitely recommend leveling her to say 30 or 40. She's also used in many of the fusions, it seems, so worth farming just for that reason. You find her in the map that gives the speed items, which are very desirable for many parts of the game, so you'll probably come across her quite a bit. Definitely one to keep, level up, very, very useful. Now Hyria has a unique use in that her A3 here allows her to attack with 2 random allies. And in certain cases, say the clan boss or the Fire Knight Castle where you want to get many hits in, this can be very valuable because the allies use their default skill. So say she's with a Cold Heart and an Aethel, basically her 1 attack plus their 7 attacks will hit the boss 8 times. So much easier to break through the Fire Knight shield and many more chances of proccing Giant Slayer. So she's actually used more in endgame content because of that. She also has a poison ability, which doesn't hurt and hits 3 times. The only downside is her A1 is only a single attack. But every 4 turns or so, 4th and 5th turns, you can use 2 of her really good abilities. So one to look for wouldn't necessarily shard her. And also in the high elves, rounding out them here, is Apothecary. So now Apothecary is a really good single target healer. As you can see here, he has a 35% heal, which can be increased. And I believe this is multiplicative. So it's not like it's 35, 40, 45. It's 35 and then 36.2 and 37 point whatever. It goes up by 5% of the heal. So it can be pretty small, but luckily this one can be critical. Like I said, oftentimes single allies do get targeted in many of the campaign dungeons, things like that, so that can be pretty useful. Not necessarily able to solo heal an entire group, especially on things like clan boss where everyone's taking damage. But what people bring him for is his heal, his speed buff, which is pretty amazing on a 3-turn cooldown, which also increases turn meters, giving him more attack. And since he has a 3 times attack once he gets Giant Slayer, that's 3 chances of proccing Giant Slayer, which isn't really based off of his damage, it's based off the enemy's health. So it's basically like a 3 attack with a speed boost, which is pretty good, which gives your allies more attacks. So on the clan boss, pretty amazing. His heal is useful, but not his main purpose. So he's not the main healer for your clan boss team. He is an additional support hero that can also toss out a heal. But still very, very good. So those are some of the better ones. One that's also really good that people often don't know about is Wretch. It's one of the skills that's very hard to come by. It's only on, I'd say, maybe a dozen heroes in the game, is the HP burn. Now HP burn, for those of you who may not know, does damage to the enemy plus pulses an AoE attack. And on places like the clan boss, that wouldn't hit anybody else, but if a character has HP burn on them, say in the arena, they're going to, every turn that they activate, they're also going to do some damage to the other teammates in the arena. So you can get this on a 3-turn cooldown. It's a 2-turn HP debuff, and the HP burn will do more damage than poison in many cases. The downside of HP burn is you can only have 1 HP burn debuff on the boss at any given time. Once he's burnt and crispy, you cannot burn him again. But doesn't mean you can't have 2 HP burn heroes. You just have to be careful to make sure that their buffs don't overlap. In higher level clan bosses, it's very possible that the boss resists one person's HP burn, and so you can use the next person's. So having 2 characters with it isn't bad, but having 2 buffs at the same time is definitely not recommended. The reason he's also liked for a higher level clan boss is because he also has a 2 times attack. Now, there's another epic character, Juliana, who might be a better choice than Wretch to bring along, but I'd say he's actually really good. So, watch out for him. Don't use him for food. He's skilled himself up. He's a great one to have. Now we're going to go into the lizard men a little bit. There's a lot of actually rare lizard men that have very unique abilities. They look pretty cool, so for those reasons they can be pretty useful. Now I always get them mixed up because they all kind of look the same. So see which one each one has. So Lizard Brute has a 30%. On rare heroes, you often find they don't normally have a really high chance of proccing certain debuffs, which makes them a little bit hard to plan for. But and then a lot of the debuffs have a couple levels. They might have a 15% and a 30% or a 25% version. Decreasing defense has a 30% and a 60% version. What you're kind of looking for is high percent chance to proc and a high percent buff, and also a high number of turns. So because they're rare, oftentimes they're given either a lower chance of proccing, the lesser version of the proc, or 1 turn instead of 2 turns. And what you usually have to do with these rare heroes is increase their skill count, which is expensive in skill tomes, in order to get the buff you want. There's, I'd say, the 2 dungeons where you really do need the proper debuffs are the Magic Keep and the Spirit Keep. The Magic Keep is the blue one where the boss puts a shield on, and on that one in particular, which one is, I need Skink. Metal Shaper, nope. Is it this guy? Hurler, nope. Skullsworn, nope. Is this guy? Nope. Like I said, there he is. The last one you choose. So Skink, the ignore block damage can be good on the magic boss, but the decreased defense and the heal reduction are useful on the spirit boss. So he's a magic hero, good against the spirit affinity, and he has a chance to put the heal reduction buff. However, his is only 50%. So you would really want someone who can do 100%. And for the 100% decreased buff, we go to the Ogre Tribes and Rocktooth, which happens to be a farmable hero. And now it's an A3 ability, but it is a 100% chance, not counting resists and accuracy, but to put the buff on for 2 turns, which you can reduce down to 3 turns. The heal reduction is something you kind of plan for. You can kind of see when the boss's energy bar is getting full. You want to use it before that, so that it has the highest chance to land and get possibly 2 turns out of it. I guess it doesn't matter too much because it's a debuff. But anyways, so you want to put this debuff on and have it for as many turns as possible so the boss doesn't have a chance to heal. You can kind of plan out when you want to do that. And this guy is a rare hero, has the best heal reduction, I believe, in terms of because it's 100%. You don't need to have it up every single attack. And putting it on an A1 with a 30% chance is very hard to plan for. So it's kind of better to have it as a high level chance and just use it when needed. So he does have a 2-hit ability if you can stack crit on him. That's not bad, so he's actually really decent and really great against the magic hero. The other boss you're going to have some trouble with is the spirit hero with the healing. And then the third boss, we'll say, is the Force Keep hero, which can be tough for a lot of people because he doesn't take a lot of damage. There's not a lot of great spirit heroes that do damage, but one of them that comes to mind is the Templar. So for a Force Keep dungeon with the red affinity, you'd want a spirit hero, and he just happens to have this one. So his A1 is a 30% chance to put decreased defense. The provoke ability doesn't work in many of the dungeons on bosses. But the Force hero also puts a debuff on champions, which makes this guy attack. However, it's a weakened damage, so he'll do slightly less damage. Those are some examples of some of the heroes to really look out for. There's probably a handful, I'd say 5 or 6, that are really, really good. And a lot of the rare heroes are decent, but you will find replacements with epics or legendaries. So you have to kind of keep an eye out for certain rare heroes. I wouldn't recommend turning them into food, but I would recommend keeping certain ones and saving one of each rare that you can. Any duplicates for the non-fantastic heroes, you have the choice of turning them to food if you're going to be opening up a lot of shards, or using them for skills if you think that they could be useful down the line. It is sort of a tough choice. But if you're opening up a lot of shards, you're probably going to get a lot of epics, and then a lot of the rares with lower buffs or lesser versions of the buffs will get outshone by characters with higher levels of the buffs. They'll also get outshone by epics and legendaries who do more damage and have higher stat pools. So a lot of the rares will never be as useful as the epics, except for maybe ones that we talked about, such as Mystic Hand, which they're a healer, they have block buffs, they steal buffs. That sort of 3 ability combo that's all really good is very hard to find. So I would put Mystic Hand up there. He could easily be an epic hero based off of his skill set, so definitely one to keep an eye out for. The other one was Apothecary. So in the High Elves, Apothecary, he'd be probably my number 2 hero to watch out for. Wretch is up there, number 3, and Executioner, probably the best hero that you need for the rares, unless you get a Relic Keeper, who's potentially a little bit better. So I don't have a rank you over. Let's put Execution number 1, Apothecary number 2, Mystic Hand number 3, Kale or Aethel. The only reason I put them lower is you can start with them, so you already have them, but getting one or the other one that you don't have, very valuable. Put them number 4, Wretch number 5. So you get those guys in any special order. Those are probably the top 5. Not counting the Void Heroes, which are a lot harder and more expensive to get. But of the Void Heroes to get, I'd say Cold Heart, Bellower, and possibly Ifrit are 3. So I didn't show you Bellower. He's the one Void rare I don't have. The reason he's so good is because all of his abilities are AoE abilities, and they all have decent debuffs. So he has a block cooldown skills, which is pretty good. He has a decreased speed, pretty good. It's the lesser versions of them, but in cases like the Spider's Lair where you want to be attacking everything anyways, you know, he's great. He reduces all of the little spiders' damage and defense and speed, everything you want. Can be potentially fantastic arena for the same reason that he attacks everybody. He could be good if you get a counterattack buff on him or retaliation set, because every time he returns a hit, he's attacking everybody. So I think he's pretty good. And of course, Cold Heart is absolutely amazing for certain dungeons and clan boss. Highly recommend her. A lot of the other Void heroes are good. They're all usually slightly better versions of other rares with different combinations of abilities. One in particular I think that is a little bit underrated is Ifrit. So he's kind of he's ranked very low. You can see I put his Dragon's Lair and his clan boss ranking up higher because I think he's actually pretty good. The reason why I think Ifrit is better than most people think is he's the only character in the game with an A1, a 100% weaken debuff. It is the lower version of weaken, not the 25%, it's the 15%. But because you can spam it and potentially have it the weaken buff up every single turn with him, it makes it that much better. If you have an A3 attack, which is 100%, that's great, but that's also hard to find. And weaken, I think, is a very powerful debuff. I think it's potentially even better than defense down because it applies to your poisons and HP burns as well, which don't take into account defense. So for that reason, this is probably the most weakens the most important damaging buff on the clan boss. And since Ifrit gives it to you 100% of the time, minus accuracy resistance stuff, that makes him so good. His other abilities, his decreased attack debuff, can also be important in the clan boss. Now that can increase the duration of your survivability as the clan boss increases in damage. And Ifrit's also typically harder to kill because he doesn't take full damage from the clan boss ability. So for that reason, I think he's actually pretty good. He's ranked really low, but I think for the clan boss, he's actually one of the better characters, one of the better rares even. One to look out for. Marquis is the same thing. People have talked about using him for farming, also potentially pretty good. He's got self-sustain with the continuous heal and the counterattack, which you can have up all the time. Similar to Executioner, he's a defensive character with attacking abilities. He has an AoE. So I mean, if you get his skills up, he's very similar to Executioner. So if you need a farming hero, you don't like Executioner for whatever reason, and you get Marquis, and you have a bunch of rare tomes, potentially one to look into. Not a bad hero. Could be a solo farmer. I've never personally tried that, but very interesting. So there you go. So hopefully that video helps look at a few of the rares, stuff to look out for. I'm not saying any of the rares or other rares are bad, but when you're evaluating a rare hero, look for the buffs that they bring, and the number of attacks that they do, and the number of the type of debuffs that they put on, and make a decision from there. A lot of characters have unique abilities, but they may not be that good. So hopefully that helps. And if you guys like this video, let me know in the comments. Subscribe to my channel. I can definitely make a lot more videos like this for epics and legendaries. I'm actually looking at creating a video with all the top healers in the game and ones I like the best. So if you guys like this kind of stuff, let me know. Alright, till next video guys, take care.